60% of our planet has been consumed by the invaders.
I will open up the gates of hell, and I will unleash a fury that no mortal man has ever seen.
For it is he that they fear, not man, or his armies. They fear the mark of the beast.
The hounds of hell are baying for your soul, and the gates of hell are opening and welcoming you to your eternal damnation. You will never rest in peace.
When I first beat Doom 2016 and 2021, I was enamored with the campaign gameplay. It was fast, intense, challenging, and a fun joyride. I was disappointed in myself for waiting 5 years to play it, and I intended not to make the same mistake when I started Doom Eternal immediately after. I failed once again, and now I find myself 4 years behind on this experience, and while I'm ashamed, I am more than grateful that I've played it now. Doom Eternal was an absolutely intense experience, the likes of which I will cherish for the rest of my life. As of recording, I only have just over 75 hours of gameplay, but my oh my, those were some of the best 70 hours I've ever spent in my entire gaming history. I've never had so much fun being frustrated in my life. The experience was excruciating, but enjoyable to say the least. It's like how females describe sex. It's the greatest pain in the world. Not that I would personally know anything about that, because I'm obviously not a female, and I'm a male, and I haven't really done anything with a female either. Just moving on. Let's just... No, hell no, we ain't moving on. Play my shit real quick.
Nick, kinda kinky.
I rigged this room with explosives. Premarital sex is a sin. Have fun rotting in hell, Beth.
Nick! Nick! No! Wait! Nick, please! No!
This game, much like the Soul series, offers a challenging but compelling experience. I don't know if I can necessarily say it's fair all the time, but I saw Raytro do a couple of missions on Nightmare without even getting hit, so I know I'm nowhere near the skill ceiling for this game. I think just about everything I repeatedly bitched about during my playthrough in terms of gameplay can be remedied in some sort of way. I don't think I would have pushed through the game otherwise. Eternal gives the player an excess of tools to play with, and every one of them feels like a valuable addition to the gameplay loop. And they come together as a whole to make this masterfully crafted experience. The traversal and exploration made me use what I struggle with in my daily life: common sense. Even item discovery was integral to the campaign, being necessary for a variety of upgrades that are needed throughout the levels. The game forces you to play with intention. Every single action you take has a purpose behind it. The phenomenal graphics, the unfiltered gore and violence in this game, along with the fast-paced movement, makes the game entertaining to watch, but the nuance of the gameplay is so much deeper than that. All of this would still somehow feel neutered without the hardcore metal and eerie choirs that isn't just in the background, but just like 2016, adapts to the activities you're doing in the game, and in my opinion, along with most others, is integral to the experience. It's a game like none other. In this video, I'm going to give my take on the campaign's gameplay, which will consist of combat and exploration. I'll discuss the story, battle mode, horde mode, content, graphics, and monetization in a part 2. I'm P34J. and this is my review of Doom Eternal. We're immediately getting into the gameplay because it's obviously the main selling point of the new Doom games. Like I said earlier, combat in this game consists of an arsenal of guns, equipment, and abilities, a variety of enemies with weaknesses, and a slew of upgrades for your suit, armor, health, ammo, and weapons. Exploration takes the player through a puzzle-like traversal system like platform games of old. Shout out Pac-Man World 2, by the way. And rewards them via collectibles, extra lives, health, armor, power ammo, and upgrades. The goals of the game are as follows. Stay on the move fast, and take routes to minimize damage during combat. Use the right tools and techniques to exploit enemy weaknesses, gain health or armor, or get yourself out of a pinch. Explore the map to find resources for your current mission and the upgrades needed for later levels. So let's lay out all the tools in the Doomslayer's kit. Every gun has a base fire mode, but most guns have 2 alt fire mods that can be equipped through the campaign via exploration. For the shoulder-mounted equipment launcher, there are frag grenades that damage and falter enemies, and ice bombs that temporarily freeze enemies. The chainsaw can be used on fodder demons to replenish ammo. You will need this a lot. It replenishes 1 charge over time, but up to 2 extra charges can be found as pickups throughout each level. It takes 3 charges to chainsaw a heavy demon. The evasive dash and double jump are your enhanced mobility options. The flame belch sets enemies on fire and churns out armor pieces as you gun them down. When you stun an enemy via damage or special attack, they will grow orange and blue, making them vulnerable to a glory kill, which are these brutal executions of demons that supply more health. The base melee in this game is redundant against all enemies in this game, but each glory kill charges your blood punch, which does heavy damage to a direct target and sends a powerful shockwave which staggers and damages nearby enemies. I would be remiss in not mentioning the legendary BFG 9000, which is a powerful weapon that can do massive damage to individual enemies and bosses or clear out waves of enemies with the projectile's tendrils. The longer the projectile can float through the air, the more damage the tendrils can inflict. I tried to be sparing with this ammo in my playthrough, but save for one situation, I feel this may have been a mistake on my end, because the game is actually quite generous on supplying Argent energy for the BFG, even supplying it when necessary for boss fights. Much the same can be said for the Slayer Crucible, a powerful sword that can one-shot most demons. I didn't really find it useful against bosses, but it was useful against the demons in the final battle against the Icon of Sin. Doom Eternal finds a way to make almost every single gun, mod, equipment, and ability a necessity to use against enemies and progress through the levels, via sheer damage, weaknesses, and or weak spots. Imps get staggered by bullets. Attacking a gargoyle in midair will instantly stun them for a glory kill. Blood Punch breaks a Cyber Mancubus' armor and insta-kills Pinky's Inspectors. The Combat Shotgun Sticky Grenade mod can be used to give the Cacodemon a mouthful, stunning them for a glory kill. The Heavy Cannon's Precision Bolt mod can be used to target weak spots like the Revenant's Missile Launcher and the Arachnotron's Turret, which is also vulnerable to the Sticky Bomb. The Freeze Bomb can be used to either save your ass from a horde, or to target heavies and super heavies that are hard to approach without taking massive damage. It's basically a free kill on Pinky's Inspectors, and can be used to neutralize the Spectre Whiplash. And you're practically going to be spamming dash and double jump during every enemy encounter. This sounds like a lot to keep up with. And it is! There's no other way around it. Either you rise up to the challenge, or you die over and over again until you eventually quit. Doom 2016 was unapologetic in its campaign, and Doom Eternal is even more so. Now, I played the campaign on the same difficulty I played Doom 2016, each through the first playthrough. Nightmare. Yep, that's right. I immediately challenged myself through the hardest difficulty, and I do not regret it at all. I died a boatload of times and wouldn't take a second of it back, because like I said in my finals review, I am willing to get my ass whooped as many times as it takes to get good at any game I play. On Nightmare difficulty, The demons are absolutely relentless. It's like stepping into the ops hood while the block is thick, screaming, "Fuck the ops," while attempting to simultaneously set up a drug ring in that same area. They want to see you in a box. And through my playthrough, they rolled me up hundreds of times. But it's the intelligent and adrenaline pumping gameplay that kept me coming back for more. Having to press like 30 buttons in succession of each other provided a rush that only PvP movement shooters like Halo 5 in the finals could even come close to matching. And you have to use each tool at the right time or you will die. You gotta use mobility to dodge bullets, you gotta use the flame belch for armor, gotta glory kill for health and to refill your blood punch, gotta freeze groups of enemies to survive, you gotta use the chainsaw for ammo. Sometimes I was using that for health as well, even for a minimal amount. Gotta hit this damn tyrant with everything I've got! Mastering the combat in Doom Eternal is a gargantuan task to undertake, one that I still haven't done, because even though I've beaten the entire campaign on Nightmare, I haven't beaten a mastery level yet, or beaten the Horde mode. I did try them out and I got shit on. Lol. But the journey is a thrill ride. Doom Eternal is the only game I know that forces you to play a certain way, and it is in the right for doing so. And even with that, there's still wiggle room for you to tweak your playstyle. Once the game showed me the weapon switch combo, where you can reduce recovery frames for high damage single shot guns to quickly kill heavy demons and deal serious damage to bosses, I started maining the super shotgun, with my secondary either being the rocket launcher or the ballista, when I didn't want to blow myself up. The game got so rough that I stopped using certain weaknesses because I didn't feel like I had enough time to target these spots as I was getting relentlessly shot out in the open. I often get jumbled up on the weapon wheel, and I haven't improved my snappiness enough to quickly operate the precision ball. But from watching a few other content creators on YouTube, and through my short experience with the mastery levels in Horde mode, I'm 90% sure that this was a mistake on my end, and I'm going to try to target more weak spots in the future to see if that'll make things a bit easier. But even with me slightly pigeonholing myself to 2 to 3 guns, the campaign still forced me to use specific parts of my arsenal. I used the sticky bomb for cacodemons and arachnotrons early on, the precision bolt for the arachnotrons early on. The micro missiles helped against the Icon of Sin. When I finished the game, I'd say the only mods I didn't use a significant amount were both chain gun mods, both ballista mods, and the rocket lock-on mod with the 3 rockets. I rarely use the chain gun at all, to be honest, but I felt like I should have used it more to efficiently churn out armor from fodder enemies. That mobile minigun is sick as fuck though. And then there's power-ups. There's one where you do extra damage, one where you get an extreme speed boost in a game that's already dizzyingly fast, and then there's Berserk. A power-up where you one-shot everything in sight, allowing you to literally rip and tear. Most great games these days get their depth from grinding countless hours for upgrades and weapons, with copious amounts of content. In this shooter, the depth is not only in finding new weapons and upgrades, but being forced to use them all in combat at some point. Lots of them at the same time, repeatedly in every fight. And in my opinion, the quick time events aren't a hindrance to the gameplay loop because the animations provide invincibility frames and are quick and swift. Super heavy demon glory kills are a bit slower, but they are epic and a joy to look at, and provide a rewarding feeling for killing whatever powerful bastard I just exercised. Regular glory kills are also very gory kills, and showcase violent and creative uses for the Doom Blade. The campaign's upgrade and progression system is robust. You unlock weapon mods by finding mod bots throughout each level and choosing which mod you want to unlock. I just wish the Doomslayer would still beat the mod bot's ass like he did in 2016. That was funny. Each mod can be upgraded using weapon points that you earn through combat, followed by a mastery upgrade which can be obtained either through a mod-specific challenge or mastery coins, found through exploration in the later levels. Sentinel crystals increase a choice of health, armor, and ammo capacity, with certain perks being attached to each upgrade. Praetor tokens are used for a plethora of suit upgrades, and I'd say most of them are a significant help in the later levels, specifically the one that gives you an extra frag charge and the one that grants health on killing frozen enemies. Runes are these upgrades that can heavily affect your style of play, except savagery. The only point I see in using this rune is to help the gameplay flow a bit more consistently, but it doesn't offer any gameplay advantages. If you want to be a movement junkie, I suggest air control and blood fueled. The most essential one for me was saving throw, which allows you to survive one fatal blow and the rune recharges upon death. And seeing as to how I was playing on Nightmare, you get why I needed it. It was fun deciding which of these upgrades I needed at the time, but the best part is that by the end, you can have all these upgrades. I actually am still missing a few upgrades and secrets and will have to go back sometime. And even when you find everything, the game will still have tons of replay value just off of sheer gameplay. Doom Eternal has a dynamic map design, comparable in quality to games like Halo's 2, 3, and Reach, Apex Legends, and the Finals, where you can interact with the sandbox in a multitude of ways. I'll start with the puzzles and platforming. I might be saying this simply because I'm a dumbass, but the game did get me to think when I was traversing through the levels. There's these graded walls you can latch onto and climb on, gravity lifts, monkey bars you can swing off of, blocks and levers that you have to move and trigger by punching, mechanics that you have to trigger by shooting a target, breakable walls, and even swimming. The air sections encourage you to use dash, double jump, and mantling abilities wisely to get to the next objective. You also have to use your dash underwater to break through walls. There are hazards like missiles, Super Mario fire pendulums, purple goo that slows you down, acidic water or water you lose oxygen in while swimming. They both function the same. These electric traps that shock you as you walk, and falling, obviously, which I did hella a lot. Luckily, when you fall off the map, the game respawns you, just with slightly less health and armor. There have been multiple times where my dumbass fell off repeatedly and lost a life. These sections are fun, thoughtful challenges that break up the non-stop adrenaline of the arena fights in an effective way. There are also traversal methods available in the arenas, with the monkey bars, grav lifts, and portals. Each arena has multiple levels of elevation and a variety of routes to take. Most of them feel not too open as to be unprotected from enemy fire, but not too narrow to allow the player to navigate to safety. I have been surrounded by demons a number of times, with no resources left to prevent my death, but I often found this was because I was standing in the same spot for too long, trying to target a specific enemy. Most of the fighting arenas don't feel very different from one another besides layout, but much like Halo's 5 and Infinite, they serve as decent canvases for the gameplay, and unlike those games, there are loads of dynamic elements. Along with traversal, there are also offensive elements to use against enemies, like traps, explosive canisters, and the cue ball demon. As I've said before, I'm no map design expert, but id Software got it right in my book. The enemies in this game were fun to fight. Each felt distinctive and forced the player to think about how to handle each battle. Prioritization is key in this game. I generally want to take out all the heavy demons to quickly clear out the area. Need some ammo, armor, or health to deal with a heavy or super heavy demon? Run around the map to kill some fodder or a maker drone. Aggressive demons like the Hell and Dread Knights, Whiplash, and Pinkies had to be taken down immediately. I tried to take out the Cyber Mancubus only if I wasn't under pressure from other heavies. There were some demons in this game that made my life a living hell. Go figure. Now, surprisingly enough, the Arachnotron turrets didn't bother me that much, and they became real easy to kill later on in the game, along with the Hell Knights. The Dread Knight was only slightly stronger. The Baron of Hell and Tyrant were tanky, but I was able to maneuver around their attacks, and they were just like these epic mini-bosses that I enjoyed. My personal most annoying demons are as follows. The Carcass Demon kept blocking my shots and pathing, so they had to be killed ASAP. The Caca Demon was a pest to deal with, even though they were easy to kill, especially when they just flatter you and start chomping your ass. I mean, just listen to the name. Caca Demon. Like, what the fuck even is that? That shit just sound annoying. And they look annoying, and they are annoying. Like, it's funny as hell. Like, the Pain Elementals were just buffer versions of the Caca Demons without the sticky grenade weak spot. And they could shoot those damn annoying lost souls that were in the last game, pissing me off. Whiplashes were annoyingly aggressive, and their skinny frame made them hard to aim at, so I had to use freeze bombs and blood punches. I don't even know why I'm procrastinating. Y'all already know what the fuck time it is. Those that have played this game know exactly what's coming next. Those damn Marauders. The first boss fight pissed me off. The next couple of encounters pissed me off. That bitch ass dog pissed me off. The The fact that this, excuse my language, pussy ass nigga is resistant, damn near invulnerable to all super weapons, and is invulnerable to all damage until he attacks and his eyes flash green, pissed me the fuck off. But, as much as I hate to say it, he's not bullshit. And here's why. First, he's beatable. I did it. Multiple times. On the highest difficulty. I'd even go as far as to say, by himself, he's a pansy. Over time, the Marauder got easier and easier to deal with. 2, yes, he does break up the flow of the game a bit. You have to make sure any heavy demons around the Marauder are dead before you get to him. Target him, make sure there aren't too many fodder demons shooting at you while you target the Marauder, then move around to try to damage him in the next spot. The Marauder does bring some of that slower paced, Dark Soul, timed attack mentality, which goes against the core, fast-paced gameplay Doom is famous for. When alone. When stacked with other enemies, you still have to rush to kill the surrounding threats while running from his ass. The Marauder, in my opinion, even though I incessantly bitched about him throughout my entire playthrough, does add another layer to think about when fighting enemy waves. And I feel like I can have an easier time against him in future playthroughs. The only thing I can't fully control is when he uses the axe projectile mid-range and the shotgun up close. Trying to get him to glow his eyes can be a challenge, but I got a bit better at that later in the game. Another thing that I want to try in the future is that technique with the ballista where you can shoot at his feet while he's running at you. I think it's either, I don't know if it's while his shield is out or while he's running at you without the shield, but you can shoot at his feet and insta-stun him. I've seen the guy kill him with one combo doing that, without having to run across the map. Like, he killed him in like practically the same spot in like 5 seconds. He really made the Marauder look pretty easy. The motherfucking Archfowl demon though, that shit is unfair. I can't even hold you. I hate when the game spawns him in some secluded space and I can't find him in time to stop him from summoning other buffed demons. And he takes so much health to kill. But the most underrated enemy in the game that trolled me consistently was the soldier with the blue shield. For me, a fucking fodder demon was one of the hardest enemies in the game. That damn automatic shotgun shredded me multiple times. That shield was blocking hella damage when I didn't have any cells or chainsaw charges. And even when I did have the cells, ain't nobody got time to take out the plasma rifle and slowly chop down every shield while I'm getting shot at by like 100 more demons. I guess that mentality is holding me back, especially since the shields explode and do damage. I complained about this stuff the whole way through, but it didn't ruin my playthrough for 3 reasons. 1, I overcame all these challenges, and I feel like the player can master the combat of Doom Eternal to minimize these threats and beat the game with less difficulty over time. 2, the enemies always had me thinking on my toes to figure out how to navigate through a situation. And 3, they just never took away from the fun. In fact, they added to it. I didn't 100% the exploration in this game, but I got a good chunk of everything, probably like 80 to 90%. But that doesn't mean I didn't have fun trying to find things, it just means I have a reason to go back later. I find it amazing that the auto map reveals the location of most collectibles and upgrades, yet finding these items was still a challenge because I had to use my brain and look around to figure out how to access these locations via platforming, puzzles, or triggers. And the rewards for these challenges made it worth it. As earlier explained, you find Praetor Suit points, weapon mod bots, mastery coins, sentinel crystals, runes, and power ammo through exploration. Added to this, you can find collectibles like codex entries, music, toys, and cheat codes, as well as armor, health, extra lives, and optional battles in 2 forms. Secret encounters require the player to kill a set of demons within a short amount of time. They reward you with a weapon point to upgrade your mods. And then there's the Slayer Gates, which are these outrageously difficult battles that are only for the best of the best Slayers. I completed them all. The 5th one on Mars Core with the Marauder and the Tyrants was extremely excruciating, to the point to where I had to quit the Slayer Gate, finish the level, then use mission replay to fight my way back to the gate, making sure I had Origin Energy for the BFG available for that fight. These challenges were some of the most frustrating battles I've dealt with in the game, besides boss battles, but the fun I got out of them while I was raging was completely worth it. Each Slayer Gate rewards you with an Empyrean key upon completion, and there are 6 of them. You can also find Sentinel batteries throughout each level. Which leads me to the Fortress of Doom, the hub world of the campaign. This ship is huge, and there's a whole lot of detail and expression, and it has plenty of spaces to explore and secrets to unlock. Those collectible toys and all the weapons you earn can be viewed in the Doomslayer's man cave, which also has some cool guitars, a PC, and an old computer monitor where you can unlock Doom 1993 and Doom 2 Hell on Earth within the game. I haven't unlocked them yet, but I already have these on Xbox, along with Doom 3 from when I bought Doom 2016 a few years ago. The music you collected can be found throughout the fortress and can be activated. There's also the Repertorium, which can be used to practice against demons. There's even rooms that you can walk out of the fortress to explore in space. Space. Mission replay, master levels, and cheat codes can all be activated from the fortress. Now, remember those Sentinel batteries and Empyrean keys I was just telling you about? The batteries can be used to unlock items in the fortress, such as Praetor tokens, mod bots, Sentinel crystals, and cosmetics, including the original Doom Guy suit from Doom 1. The Empyrean keys can be used to unlock the Unmaker, a powerful automatic weapon which uses the same Argent ammo as the BFG. I ain't gonna lie, in my first playthrough, the Unmaker kind of seemed unpowered, but I did eventually fight the Con Maker again, and the Unmaker actually did help in taking one of her armor cores down. It did a pretty healthy amount of damage. It felt like useless against the Icon of Sin. The BFG was doing way more damage against the Icon of Sin, but I did eventually find significant use for the Unmaker. Even though there are no NPCs to interact with on the ship, this was definitely one of the best hub worlds I've played in, because it brings some of that puzzle-like nature from the platforming bits of the campaign to the fortress. Along with the character and expression, the Fortress of Doom looked damn cool, and exploring it was damn cool. Switching back to the combat, the boss battles in this game were amazing. Yes, even the first Marauder fight. Now that boss fight with the guy with the 2 maces, I beat that like late last year, so it's kind of hard to remember how I felt about it at the time. But it is a pretty damn cool fight. The rest of the boss fights I remember more vividly. The Doom Hunter was hard to fight without all the late game upgrades. I usually never use the plasma rifle on his shields. I usually freeze him and try to destroy his sled ASAP. I'm embarrassed my simple ass died so many times to that first Marauder fight. If I went back again, I would smoke his ass effortlessly. Fun fact, I forgot to record my first playthrough of the Con Maker and Icon of Sin Part 1 for this video, so I had to go back and redo them. I got decimated on the Con Maker fight both times, but on the second try, I remembered that the Maker drones don't just drop health on the headshot kill, they drop ammo as well, so I was able to cheese her in a triple bullet rocket loop. She made me think for hours about how to fell her, and now I could probably roll her ass up in like 5-10 minutes. Now the Icon of Sin, absolutely legendary boss fight. I was getting absolutely fucked for like 5 hours trying to beat his ass. The main thing is I didn't know how to dodge those damn punches he would do on the top floor. But when I went back and redid that first part, I made sure to pick up that Argent energy right before the fight, and the BFG was so effective, it took like 75% of his health. I was able to progress from this part after only a few tries this run around. I didn't have to redo part 2, thankfully. I have that recorded. But I loved everything about the Icon of Sin fight, from blowing his giant pieces of armor off in the first phase to obliterating chunks of his flesh in the second phase, as well as having to dodge punches, lasers, and even fucking Armageddon-like meteor showers. And then the game puts all the pressure on you by sending a bunch of demons at you at the same time, but you can insta-kill all of them with the Crucible. Now that how you fulfill power fantasy while simultaneously challenging the player. When I finally got through the Icon of Sin boss fight, I felt a huge dopamine rush, a sense of achievement like none other. This felt 10 times better than when I beat Tyrene Calypso, and I thought that was fun. It was grueling, it was challenging, it was thrilling, it was intense, it was long, it was frustrating, but it was fun. It was awesome. One of my favorite boss fights of all time. My actual criticisms of the game are far and few in between. My main criticisms are the blood punch and chainsaw glitches, where you go in for a glory kill and accidentally use a blood punch, or the chainsaw wouldn't activate on a demon that was right in front of me. These piss me off frequently, enough to mess with the flow of the game. Any gameplay glitches are going to be my number one priority for criticism, especially in a game where gameplay is the key feature. I hope to see these issues fixed in the next game. Then there's the save system. The game has a great autosave system for the first playthrough, but you can't save your progress on replayed missions on master levels, which is ass. I especially felt this when I had to replay Mars Core like 3 times to get back to that damn Slayer gate. The checkpoint system was kinda skep at times, sending me like 2 sections back on death. Then there's this weird UI feature where you can turn the music volume down to 0. I don't know what that's in there for. I don't know. The frame rate would stutter, but only when I would be moving into or around parts where there's a lot of physical collision, like walls, corners, and dead ends. Or when I ran into invisible walls, and sometimes in heavy chaotic action. Not really much of an issue. I played on PS5, by the way. Lastly, when you put the Crucible away, it messes up your 2-weapon loadout. It takes you back to the previous weapon used, which is fine, but when you switch to your next weapon, it will automatically be the combat shotgun. So if I'm running super shoddy rockets, and I switch off the super shoddy to the Crucible, use it, then put it away, I'll land back on the super shoddy. But if I switch weapons, I won't be on the rockets. I'll be on the combat shotgun for no reason. I'm pretty sure this wasn't intentional, but it's ass. Overall, Doom Eternal's campaign was an amazing, polished, fine-tuned, challenging, hectic, intense experience. It's top tier in my opinion, even though I don't have that big of a game catalog in my history. But I already know that this game will stand the test of time, as it and its prequel have successfully re-established the Doom franchise as a staple in FPS and single-player games, via its fast, violent combat. Doom Eternal improved upon this formula by adding strategy and deeper progression to the mix, and executing it almost flawlessly. The movement, the arsenal, the enemies, the progression system, the exploration, every one of these features feel like they were made with all the others in mind, and it's a unique dance, the likes of which I'm upset with myself for not playing sooner. I have to say that by the time I stabbed the Icon of Sin with the Slayer Crucible, I was more than satisfied with everything that came before. Probably the best $20 I have ever spent in my life. But I still wanted more. Yep, that's right, folks. I did complete the Ancient Gods DLC, Part 1 and Part 2. And that is also gonna be in the Part 2 of my Doom Eternal review, where again, I will also be talking about music, monetization, the rest of the content like Horde mode and Battle mode, and the cosmetics, and UI, and some more stuff. A lot of stuff. Overall, Doom was definitely an enjoyable experience. I'm glad I'm doing this review. I'm expanding my gaming catalog, just trying my best to explore the art form that I have enjoyed for, the hobby that I've enjoyed for my entire life. I'm happy I'm doing this. I'm also working on Red Dead Redemption 2. I was working a little bit on GTA 5's campaign. I'm working on Elden Ring. But my immediate next priority after I get done with this Doom stuff is going to be Remnant 2. Still gotta finish that second part to the Mortal Kombat review. It's funny that I'm about to finish the second part to this Doom review first, and I still haven't done the second part to the Mortal Kombat review. That's kind of hilarious. But It's gonna get done. I've got a lot of things to do, you know. This second part of the Doom review will be up soon, probably in like a couple days. But I want to thank you all for taking the time out to check me out. I appreciate it. I want to thank you. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you all enjoy the next video. If you want to check out my last review on the finals, it's going to be in the description and at the end of this video. You want to check out the Apex review, the Mortal Kombat review I did. They're in the description as well. I'd just like to thank you all for tuning in today. This is P34J. I'm a ripping and tearing. I'll see you all soon for the second part. Have a good one.